Hey everybody, how we doing out there? It's Doc and Mav with ReadySetCrypto. We are live today, Wednesday the 16th of February. Welcome aboard everybody. Hit the thumbs up button if you would please. Welcome aboard. Let us know where you're coming in from. We've got some interesting things to talk about today. Mav's got some interesting projects to go over as well. We're at an interesting inflection point in the markets. We'll talk about that shortly. Let's get everybody on board. Let's get everybody engaged, and we will get started soon.
Hello, hello.
All right. Seb is coming in from, what is that, Mexico? Mexico. All right. We got Saksham from India. We have Peter from the Netherlands. Welcome aboard. Very excited to have the next season of Formula One starting. And we equate Formula One with the Netherlands these days. Let's see. We got Rich coming in from Southern California, SoCal. We got San Antonio with Sean. Love the Riverwalk. So cool. The Riverwalk. Ray from Austin. Welcome aboard, Ray. Hey, Buckhorn, Arkansas. I think the last time I was in Arkansas, I was on an old steam train. That was really cool. Sydney, Australia. All right. Welcome aboard, Daily Shaves. What's going on, Mav?
Hey. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Looks like we're still kind of not really doing much today, but yeah. Kind of what we were hoping for. We were hoping for kind of a boring Fed minutes just released today regarding inflation and their intentions regarding interest rates and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, otherwise pretty slow day in the market for crypto. Doesn't seem like there's anything really standing out. There's back and forth for the US in terms of legislation regarding crypto. We saw like the SEC fine BlockFi. Saw a little bit of, vitriol from congressmen regarding the Super Bowl ads. We saw a couple of those over the weekend. I mean, it was just cool to see crypto in front of so many people and in such a public way, especially, when we talk about like, what does adoption look like? It looks like, people who are watching the NFL or NASCAR or Formula One, that's a really good, target market for people to get introduced to crypto and maybe have their, skepticism or, whatever hold up they have about crypto to slowly ebb away at that. So I think, the more we continue to be public and in front of people like that, the better. So yeah, I think that's kind of where we are today and what's going on. Yeah, again, not too much going on, but that's always an opportunity for us to kind of take a little, sojourn into, finding some cool projects or cool ways to diversify or find different income streams in this market. Doc obviously tries to do that through trading and different strategies that are both risk averse, but also capital preserving and hopefully expanding. But I do it more from a fundamental side to say like, okay, can we find some needles in many haystacks? Because that's the state of the crypto market in 2022. It's definitely stratified into different directions and is definitely the case. I'll jump over to the dreaded screen share here. It's definitely the case that, again, going back to one of the resources we talked about last week, this is the altcoin season index. It is yeah, not definitively Bitcoin season or altcoin season, somewhere in between. That's kind of where we are right now. But I think one thing I didn't talk about last week when regarding this, and again, this is just kind of a funny little chart. Don't use this as like the source of truth or anything like that. But when it comes to the difference between altcoin season and Bitcoin season, which again, we define altcoin season as when the top 50 coins and 75% of them are performing better than Bitcoin. It's altcoin season. It's fun times. But yeah, as you can see right now, there's not that much standing out in the top coins out there. Now, again, when we go back to this this chart here, where up here is altcoin season, up down here is Bitcoin season. When we get to right around where we're at right now, about the 45 mark in terms of slightly leaning towards Bitcoin, if we just kind of historically look at that as a predictor of when things rapidly shift into altcoins, say favor, yeah, it's a pretty good indicator when we see things get to a little bit below 40 on this chart here. And that's when we see things, the pendulum quickly swing back into altcoins. So again, this is just one tool out of many out there to just kind of get a determinant as to what's going to happen. Certainly not a predictor of the future, but certainly is a decision-making tool to say, yeah, when things get heavily in Bitcoin's favor, Bitcoin being the biggest on-ramp, the biggest champion of crypto out there, it's Big Daddy Bitcoin, it's representing crypto. When things start to move in its favor, and when there's an environment that can support altcoins, that is going to be receptive to moving into risk on assets that altcoins represent, that's when we see the pendulum swing back. So hopefully we see another kind of December type move. But again, it could go, be temporary, or it could be the start of what we saw last year. Clearly, that was a very prolonged altcoin season, not something we see very often, but something we hope to see sometime this year. So anyways, moving into today's topic, I want to talk about one of the most interesting ways I've seen recently in terms of how to make some passive, but pretty consistent, pretty interesting amounts of money. I mean, if making 77% or 58% or 112% yearly returns, annualized returns on your investment, which when we're talking about staking is literally just putting the money aside, kind of like in a bank account, and just not touching it, locking it up for a certain period and being paid these rewards as a result. So one thing to get out of the way immediately is to say staking is first off, not guaranteed. These reward rates that you see here are only based off of today's projections and the inflation rate regarding each of these coins and whatnot. It is by no means a guarantee that you're going to see double-digit returns like this. And that's why some of these, as best as possible, I've included the adjusted rewards rate. And even that is subject to many caveats. But the point to get across here is that staking has come a long way since we used to talk about this back in 2018 as a nice little passive income boost. We're talking single-digit returns. It's just there is a totally different staking game going on right now. Because a lot of these projects, a lot of these, you say like Ethereum competitors or some of these standoff ones that are building off of like a smart contract platform like Cosmos, they want to see some lockup. They want to see some security on their network. And for those who aren't familiar or need a little bit of a refresher, staking is similar to mining in terms of, it's providing an essential piece of the blockchain puzzle. It is allowing the network to be decentralized, to be secure, to operate, all that stuff. So that's you're basically, you're running the show in a lot of ways, and you should be paid as a result. On Bitcoin, you're doing that through having ASIC miners doing the calculations, and you basically need to run that like a business these days. Millions and millions of dollars to do that. Thankfully, there are alternatives with staking projects, especially the smaller ones, where it doesn't require a whole lot to get started here. It doesn't require a whole lot to be locked away. Some of the biggest ones out there, like Ethereum, it's eventually going to require, 32, I believe is the number of Ethereum to be locked up, which for a lot of people, that's an inaccessible amount of capital to be just sitting there even if it is making a nice passive return. Now that's where Ethereum competitors come in, and they offer competitive rates, and they offer different ways to kind of expand your capital. So some of the ones that we want to look at here are like Axie Infinity, Cosmos. These are what I would call safer, you say, staking options, because they're more established, they're bigger, they're not going to rug pull anytime soon is the more likely bet. They're not going to probably have complications that would prevent you from either making a return on your investment or just losing it all. So this is the stuff we want to have more of, or, just a good chunk. If we're going to be diversified, we want some security in this, especially when we're talking about smaller, non-Ethereum, non-Bitcoin projects. We want to limit our exposure to some of these. But I'd say these are as good as it gets in terms of safety in this little sector here. Now, when we move on to projects like Osmo and Juno and Secret Network, some of these are built off of Cosmos, for example. This is where we start to see some crazy return rates, 58%, 112, 22. This is, again, a temporary measure. It is a temporary number. But while these projects, these networks are trying to bootstrap their security, their network, et cetera, they're going to pay you a much higher APR or APY to basically help them build their network, to get it established, to get it out there so that people actually trust it to, start operating on it or start building on it. They need your help to do so. And by setting aside just a little bit of capital to help them bootstrap that network, you are going to be paid a disproportionate amount of return to do that. So it's a great way if you're kind of sitting on the sidelines right now and saying, all right, I'm not really sure if Bitcoin's going to go up. I'm not really sure if it's going to go down. Maybe it's going to go sideways. I'm not really waiting for it to, I'm not going to wait for it to do something. I'm going to, take this time right now to just go out there and make some passive income, and do so in a way that doesn't require a whole lot of technical knowledge, doesn't require a whole lot of risk exposure, especially for the larger projects we're talking about here. It's just a really nice way to bolster your returns month to month, especially when the market's choppy like this, especially if we see another downturn in Bitcoin. This is a way to offset some of that, say, churn. So great ways to get into this. And these are not small projects too, like Osmosis is 54 on the market cap rank. Juno is 88. Secret Network is 96. So they're top 100 coins. These are not little moonshot microcaps. These are actual projects out there that are doing really good things, and they need your help to get that started. So, hey, why not be paid to help make them make that happen? The last one I want to talk about is Sentinel, which is definitely a moonshot comparatively, but is also another Cosmos-based one. It's doing some interesting things related to decentralized VPN and chat service. Currently has a rate of 56%. Again, just diversify across the board, because none of these rates are guaranteed, but you can find a nice blended rate by coming into multiple of these. And yeah, it's just a great way to build out a portfolio in a way that's making you passive income, even if maybe you want to focus more on like the trading aspect with Doc, or you want to try to build a nice diversified portfolio that's hopefully going to moonshot, hockey stick in the future. This is a nice way to just kind of bolster out and get some monthly income so that you maybe have more capital to do that, or whatever you want to do. Now, when it comes to like finding these sorts of projects, how do you come up with this stuff? Where do I see the steps to, take part in this? How do I get started, basically? One of my favorite sites to look at is stakingrewards.com. It's kind of like a crypto market cap or a CoinGecko in terms of, you're just seeing a lot of these, listed by market cap rank projects out there. And what's nice is instead of going by like market cap or going by, their volume or something like that, it's more in relation to their reward. It's more in terms of how much is currently locked up or staked with that project. And this way we can start to filter by reward rate. So we can start to look for, hey, are there projects out there with a good blend of high market cap and high return percentage? So I'm not getting, I'm not putting my capital into some little micro moonshot that might disappear tomorrow. I'm probably backing a project that has some substance, that has some staying power and has a substantial return rate in the interim while it's still getting started. It's still rolling out there. So just great way to just look for these kind of projects out there. Great way to do some research on them. And, for example, if you want to see how to get started or the difference between running like a staking node or lending it out, some of these will have you be a delegate or run a validator node. Lots of different ways to, it's not just throwing money out there and having it staked. It's, maybe you actually do some work and you get paid an extra percentage as a result. Lots of different options out there. But again, if you want to see how to get started with this, this is a great way to kind of say like, okay, if I want to lock up $1,000 for a year, this is what I intend to earn. This is probably what I'll be earning monthly. This is what I'll earn in a year with that. You can min-max it to your heart's content. And it's just a great way to, again, do some research on this. If you've never staked any project before, this would be a great way to get started, a great way to find some extra income while you're waiting for the market to do whatever you want it to do. And just a great way to learn more about this. Another site, and this is the last one I'll talk about here. This is stakely.io, just another resource for finding information on these. As I was building today's list, which is down in the bio below, I wasn't able to find every project I wanted to talk about today on stakingrewards.com. So it was nice to have stakely.io as sort of a backup or kind of an alternative resource to, run the numbers against and say, okay, maybe for this project, when we balance out the risk and whatever, maybe you'll actually get this return or whatever. So yeah, just more resources for you guys to do your research and hopefully make some nice passive income. Again, it is a totally different game since 2018 in terms of staking, what's going on right now. I highly encourage you to just check it out, see what's going on, run through some projects here, especially if it's a project that you're already holding a large amount of, projects like Cardano, projects like Cosmos. These are top 10 or just outside the top 10 projects. These are huge projects that you can be pretty assured of in terms of the risk and that it's not going anywhere. And hey, if you're already holding a big stack of them, why not get paid a little bit extra, especially if it appreciates and you're getting that passive income? You're double dipping. I like 2 scoops with my ice cream, So yeah, hopefully if you guys have any questions or whatnot, we'll also be sharing a couple additional projects that you can do staking on in our Omnia newsletter at ReadySetCrypto.com. So if this is at all interesting to you or you want to learn more, also hit us up in our Discord, which is down in the bio below. But otherwise, I'm done for today. Doc, over to you. What's going on in the markets? I've talked for enough.
Before I let you go, you got to explain what is that thing behind you that's like making everybody go into. No, the other side. Yeah, that thing. That geometric.
This is a nano leaf. It is, I don't know. It's like one of these things that you can control with different. Let's see if I can get it to do what I wanted to do here. Yeah, it's lights on a wall.
So it's they're surreptitious advertising going on in there or something like that. I don't think anybody's listened to a word that you said because everybody's been into an epileptic shock based on that.
Sorry about that, guys.
Nice shiny thing to.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, here we go. Let's do a little TA here, guys. So let's make sure this is on the right screen. There we go. Okay, so here's BTC versus the US dollar. And if anybody has any additional tickers, please shout those in and we'll try to do this real quick. So what's been going on with BTC versus the US dollar here? Let me show you a correlation to something in the US markets. And I know a lot of people don't really want to hear about the US markets, but they are an order of magnitude much larger. So as goes these markets, so goes your crypto, right? And this is the one that I find the closest to it. This is the Russell 2000. This is considered the small cap index of the US stock market, which is many times the size of crypto by itself. So watch what happens with this. Watch what happens And this, you'll notice that this started tanking right around the same time that crypto did. So if we compare this, not exactly the same chart, but very similar to, and we have the same kind of relief rally coming off the bottom as well with the small caps. So what I want you guys to understand is, now a week or so ago, I talked about the potential for short squeeze as we were pressed up against one of these moves here. And that's exactly what happened. We got that short squeeze. Now, if you guys understand fractal energy trading, which is what we teach within ReadySetCrypto, then reversals start from the inside out. They propagate higher. So what has to happen for this to take off and start to get moving again, and this applies towards just about any coin that is following the same thing, is if I go out to a weekly chart, what has to happen is, this is just a swing off the bottom. I don't really care about that. It's not in play right now. This is not going to go like this. That's not going to happen. So what I have to do is I have to get the structure to start working for me, much in the same way that this one eventually had to go through a higher low and a higher high process. Markets move in waves and tides and things like that. It's just like any other organism. So what we have to see is at some point here, this has to pull back, and you have to accept that it's going to pull back. It's not going to feel good, but this needs to happen to put in the higher low, which eventually goes with a higher high if this is going to reverse. So when you see this next pullback coming, embrace it. And this may be your opportunity, and this may be the last opportunity to jump on board. So just about every asset is going to be in the same condition. Ethereum, I could go through the rest of these. They're all going to look the same. All right, so with that, so that's kind of the bigger picture here with what's going on. I will go into, it is request time here at ReadySetCrypto. We're going to go into Algorand, was the first one that we had, and we'll take a look at Coinbase on that one. So looking at Algorand, this is not a particularly great chart, but it does have potential, and just the way I was talking about, to reverse. So this one is, this is a pretty nasty downtrend, and again, watch your trend lines. Once it breaks your trend line, that trend is over, and you've switched from accumulation into distribution. So right now it's still in distribution on the larger time frame chart. However, what would have to happen to change that is we have a higher low here. If the price trades above 1.1 versus the US dollar, then you have a reversal. You have the very beginning of a reversal here at the daily chart. If this gets into the weekly chart, then you got something going. So watch for this to break above 1.1 on some good volume. Next one, since Barry is here, we got Digibyte versus the US dollar. We'll look at this. It doesn't really matter which one we look at. Oh my God, this is a brutal chart. There's not much that we could say for it. My hat's off to Barry for hanging in there, but this one's still not doing well. Now, perhaps someday we'll be here where Barry can, throw it back at me here. But if we do see this trend line broken, we may have the beginnings of the same thing that I just talked about with Algorand, is higher lows and higher highs. It's going to have to break above 3 cents for that to occur. But right now, this is in a pretty brutal distribution chain, and this is going to have to break above 3 cents to get somewhere for that. So, okay, next one on request is QANX. Only way I can chart this is through Wrapped Ether. Again, what we've done is we've seen this one go from accumulation phase into distribution as we've gotten into 2022. So this is not particularly great looking at this point, but there is a potential of a higher low here. So if this wraps back up to the upside, if this breaks the descending trend line, like so, basically trades above this level here, this may be the beginning of the next accumulation phase. Okay. All right, let's see a couple of other ones here, and then I'll go over back over to the chat. let's see, we had Metis. And with Metis, there's not much really here to look at. So what I'm going to have to do is look at Metis through the wrapped ether. And that gives me a little bit more history to look at here. Okay, so here's another chart that was in accumulation going back into distribution, the lower highs and lower lows. However, it's been looking pretty good lately. Now, this is going to have to break above this level and start the process of, it's going to have to break above this descending line here and start the process of higher highs and higher lows. Everything to me is just, this is old Dow theory from 1930. Right, so it's just it's never going to go out of style. It doesn't matter what you use it on. You can use it on the number of peaches that you sell at a bake sale or something like that. It does not matter. Okay, so that one is got a little bit of potential, and the next one was Matic, and I think Matic is not a bad chart. Let's try FTX for this. Okay, this one is in a big, again, another consolidation pattern here, and we have. It's almost in a big triangle, if you will, because this has already started to make higher highs and higher lows. And if we go out to the weekly chart, this is starting to look better. It's not great, but it's starting to look much better. There's a lot of broken charts that are out there, but with a little bit of accumulation, they can start to become very, very good ones. So right now, what I want to see on Matic is a break above 210. A break above 210 would be a valid signal here and would break this thing out of its funk to the downside and start a larger time frame uptrend. Would be good to see. Okay, let's see. All right, LRC, loop ring versus the US dollar, LRC. Hope this is the right one here. I don't know how to say this, but this is a bear flag here. This is a standard chart pattern. This is a bear flag in distribution. So unless it's able to get above and beyond the 200-day moving average above 1.2, this one's not in particularly good shape. This is in distribution, so I would avoid this one for right now. Okay, Litecoin. A blast from the past, a Litecoin. All right, let's go to Coinbase. All right. Litecoin is still in distribution. This is still following this descending trend line. Potential for a higher low. This is going to have to break out above here, above 150 to get anywhere. 145 would make this a buy signal. Now, that's only in the daily chart. That's still very premature. This one's still a broken chart. You can see that this one has gone from accumulation into distribution back in December. So this is a broken chart, but it can fix itself at the beginning of that if it breaks above 145. Cardano. Let's see if we can find Cardano. No, I've got this. There it is. Cardano, same deal as Litecoin. This is a broken chart. In distribution, you can see where this went from accumulation into distribution. Has been in distribution for the last several weeks. I would wait till this one breaks that descending trend line if you're not already in it. Okay, SLP. Let's take a look at SLP. And I'll do that versus Tether. This one is in distribution. This is another broken chart. This is now something interesting going on here. There's a lot of volume. Now, this is on Binance. So I don't know if there's anything happening on Binance, but watch this carefully because volume can start to signal that something's going on. Somebody knows something. So this one is, crawling along in the gutter. But if this one is able to break above 4 cents on good volume, then that might be an interesting, you got very little to lose on that entry at that point. Okay, GLMR. Okay, not much history here. I don't know if there's a different way to look at this one. That's Binance. We'll try. No, there's just no history here. And right now, this thing's automatically went into distribution right off the bat. So what I would say is this one, there's not much that I can do with this chart here because I have so little history. But what I would say is if you're not already in it, I would wait until this breaks above $6.80 to $7. $6.80 to $7 versus Tether. Okay. Joaquim is shouting out some fib levels, some fib extensions. Okay, MTV. Multivac. Let's see what's happening with Multivac. My God, finally a chart that's showing some accumulation. That's a little bit better. Okay, so it looks like a double bottom. It's coming off the double bottom. There's a higher low. Now, I don't see the higher high yet. This is going to have to break above 12 cents. But this one does have potential. If it can get some volume here, volume is always the key. If it can break above here, this may have a shot. Okay. I thought I just did GLMR. Track. Let's go with track. Track versus US dollar. This one is in distribution still. Let me zoom in on this. Okay, so here's a higher low, but what you would want to see is you'd want to wait until this breaks above here. Don't buy things that are heading lower in price, guys. Don't buy things that are heading lower in price. Everybody, there's this whole notion that's out there. Buy the dip, buy the dip. Buy the dip when something's heading higher, like this. Don't buy the dip when something's heading lower. This is catching the falling knife. So wait until something starts to show that transition back up to an uptrend. I would wait until this one breaks above 90 cents. Okay, let's see. We got track. Ravencoin. Walking with Ravencoin. Okay. Just a warning for you guys. I don't know the ticker signals behind everything that's out there. I think Ravencoin is RVN, but it's been a hell of a long time since I've looked at Ravencoin. So if you don't give me the ticker symbol, there is a risk that I could start looking at the wrong coin, which usually happens about at least once a week. Okay, so this one is still in distribution. Still looking at the weekly chart. This is still this is just a great big, enormous consolidation pattern, but this is more of a descending triangle than anything else, which is somewhat bearish. And this looks like just little flags along the way on the weekly chart. So if I were to look at this, I would say you'd certainly, the most aggressive thing that you could do is wait until this breaks above 8 cents. And that may be an early entry, which you can trade up to a lower high. These are just lower highs along the way. And so you could trade up to a lower high, and that would be your entry, is at 8 cents. But I would definitely wait until this one starts to break into a weekly uptrend. Harley, you really want me to do Ripple? Okay, I'll do Ripple just for you. Just for you. Okay, so we've broken this one. This is actually not a bad little breakout that we saw over the last couple of weeks. And this is range expansion, range contraction. So this is building into a little RSI Laguerre, like building up energy here. So I would say, like wait until this breaks above 91 cents and then maybe you got something here. But this has been in distribution for quite a while. Okay, one last one. I'll just do one last one. And that will be it for this week. H-bar. Let's go with H-bar. Okay, so again, now this one is in distribution, but you can see kind of the same thing that we're looking at here, just about every one. This has got a higher low in it. Now, if it's able to trade above 26 cents, that's a higher high. And that could be a nice entry. This is what I call a trap entry. Would be right there because all the bears are jumping on board and they're getting squeezed out right now. And you can see some of the volume is coming up. So this one could be near a pretty good entry. But again, be cautious because eventually this will drop to a weekly higher low. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. We're going to go back to the middle here. That's about all I got for today. Get your tickers in early next week and make sure that I cover them. So thanks for joining us today. Mav, do you have any final thoughts for the crew that's out there today?
Yeah, for those who joined late or those who were asking, again, I will be sharing how to earn that 50% plus reward with staking in today's Omnia newsletter. It's part of our service, ReadySetCrypto.com. Pretty much it's a very simple way to, it's as simple as a mobile app, basically. And it amazes me that not more people are talking about this right now, because to be able to do this staking, to be able to earn, 50, 100% returns and not really have to do much, and to do it all from a mobile app, it's kind of blowing my mind. So I will be sharing some of those secrets with our Omnia newsletter members, but otherwise, we also have a couple other services that I think you should check out. One of them being ReadySetTrade, which is helmed by Doc. His video from today is down in the bio below, and I would highly recommend you check it out because it's only 30 seconds. And while you're there, check out the channel as well. Subscribe to it. He puts out really great stuff. So if you're at all interested in stocks or how to trade better, definitely worth checking out our other channel. Definitely worth checking out our other service, ReadySetTrade. Just a lot of really cool stuff going on there. Doc, you want to say anything about it?
Oh, well, I'm also, something else that's worth checking out as well, too, is the YouTube channel, because I've been doing YouTube shorts that are out there. So if you want your technical analysis in bite-sized chunks that are less than 60 seconds, go check out ReadySetTrade, the YouTube channel. Make sure you get subscribed to that. And I'm putting out anywhere from 3 to 4 of those a week. So if you want to know, what's going on with the equities market and the overall stock market, go check that out on the YouTube channel. Otherwise, go sign up for free at elite.readyset.trade. Become a member for free. We got, we're coming up on 1,800 people on that site now. And there's a lot of really good discussion that's happening on the site itself. And it's all for free. If you want, there's as much there as you want to join and work into your schedule.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of great stuff on there. So yeah, if you want to be a better trader, the power's in your hands, but we want to give away as much as we can to you and help you become a better trader, regardless if you sign up for Elite or not. We just want to put that information out there because we feel like there's a plague, there's an epidemic of bad traders and bad traders giving bad advice out there, and Doc's not about that.
Trading is actually, the process of investing in trading is actually very, very simple. We go through very simple, very basic, fundamental things. Mav with his fundamentals, myself, very fundamental technicals, very structure-based technicals. It's not that difficult. What makes it hard is the human brain, right? And all this noise that's out there in today's world, dragging you all over the place, making you try different things. It's actually really, really simple. We make it hard. So when I say we make it hard, human beings make it hard on ourselves. So that's what we try to do here at ReadySet, whether it's ReadySetTrade or ReadySetCrypto. Is we're trying to help you guys see through the fog of war that's out there. So join us, join our stuff. Go ahead and kick the tires and let us know how we can help you.
Well said. Cool. Well, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Again, it is a slow day in the markets a little bit. That's okay. This is a time to learn, stack some sats, get ready for where things go from here. And yeah, I think if nothing else, just take some time to appreciate a market that isn't screaming higher, isn't screaming lower, just being boring. Sometimes we have to appreciate the little things. But yeah, otherwise, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time this week or next week. Jeez, I don't know, words. Same time, same place. And until then, hope you're doing well out there. Cheers, guys.
See you, everybody. Thanks for showing up today.